Steven Gerrard is once again at the center of a storm of speculation in Glasgow, after dropping a powerful hint that he's not quite done with management, and more specifically, not quite done with Rangers. It all started with a single phrase that echoed through the blue half of the city: unfinished business. And let's be honest, when Steven Gerrard says that, Rangers fans sit up and take notice. Just days after the club parted ways with Russell Martin, a familiar name returned to the lips of supporters, pundits, and former players alike. Gerrard, the man who guided Rangers to that historic 55th league title and ended Celtic's quest for 10 in a row, is suddenly being tipped for a sensational return to Ibrox. The timing of his comments couldn't have been more dramatic. While sitting down with Rio Ferdinand for an interview, Gerrard opened up about his current mindset, his ambitions, and the fact that he still has that hunger, that fire, the one that made him a relentless competitor both on the pitch and on the touchline. In the interview, Gerrard didn't name Rangers directly, but let's not kid ourselves. Every word felt tailor-made for the Ibrox faithful. He spoke of wanting the right challenge, the kind of job where winning is not just expected, it's demanded. Sound familiar? Because that's exactly what Rangers is all about. He talked about needing the right people around him, about returning fresh and better prepared, and about already having had several offers that just didn't come at the right time. But now, the pieces are starting to align. The seat at Ibrox is vacant. The supporters are restless. And Gerrard has openly admitted that the itch to return is stronger than ever. And it's not just Gerrard who's making headlines. Another Rangers favorite, Jermaine Defoe, has also thrown his name into the mix, not for the top job, but as someone eager to contribute. The former striker, who left a strong legacy during his spell in Glasgow, has said it would be a no-brainer to return to the club in a coaching role. Having completed his coaching badges and spent time developing talent at Tottenham's academy, Defoe now believes the time is right to help guide Rangers through this new chapter. And make no mistake, his bond with the club is deep. He was part of that special 2020-21 squad. He understands the weight of the shirt, the pressure of playing at Ibrox, and the culture that demands nothing less than excellence. His comments come as a wave of coaching staff have exited alongside Martin, leaving not just a managerial gap, but a leadership vacuum inside the club. Defoe's experience, calm presence, and understanding of what it means to be a Ranger would be invaluable in any new setup. He's made it clear that he feels a strong pull back to Glasgow, and Rangers fans, many of whom still regard him as a model professional, would likely welcome him back with open arms. What's interesting here is the potential domino effect. If Gerrard returns, would Defoe be part of his backroom staff? The two share a strong relationship and were both instrumental during that title-winning campaign. Reuniting them at Ibrox could be exactly the kind of spark the club needs to get back on track. But of course, there are still plenty of hurdles. Gerrard is currently based in Bahrain after his stint managing in Saudi Arabia. And while he's clearly keeping one eye on a return to European football, the logistics and timing have to be right. He even admitted that some of the calls he's had in recent months didn't align with his personal life. Becoming a grandfather, not yet having his staff ready, and wanting to build something more robust before jumping back in. That kind of self-awareness is actually refreshing. It shows that he's not chasing any job just for the sake of being back in the dugout. He wants the right job, a challenge that matches his style and ambitions. And let's face it, if there's a club that fits that description, one that lives and breathes pressure, expectation, and fierce competition, it's Rangers. Gerrard knows exactly what he'd be walking into. This wouldn't be a project where he needs time to understand the culture. He is part of the culture. He built something special at Ibrox before leaving for Aston Villa. And while some fans still feel the sting of his departure, there's also a widespread belief that he left a blueprint for success. A blueprint that was never fully capitalized on. That brings us to another name buzzing around the Rangers circles, Youssef Chermatai. The young Portuguese striker has been struggling to make his mark since arriving at Ibrox, with no goals in 6 appearances and a lot of scrutiny surrounding his performances. Signed for a hefty sum from Everton, expectations were sky high, but the reality has been frustrating for both the player and the supporters. However, there's a flicker of hope. Chermatai has just received a call-up back to the Portugal under-21 squad, breaking an 18-month absence from international duty. And it couldn't come at a better time. Portugal's under-21 boss, Luis Freire, had some encouraging words about Chermatai. He acknowledged the striker's physical attributes, tall, strong, fast, and his ability to link up play. Frary highlighted his experience across big clubs like Sporting, Everton, and now Rangers. Despite the goal drought, the belief is still there. And sometimes, that's all a young player needs. One goal, one international cap, one spark to turn things around. For Rangers, getting Chermatai firing would be massive. It would not only justify the club's investment, but also ease the pressure on the rest of the attacking line. A new manager, especially someone like Gerrard who understands how to manage young talent, could be exactly what the striker needs to unlock his potential. Because let's be honest, Rangers don't just need a few tweaks. They need a resurgence, a recalibration of standards, a return to the kind of football that electrified Ibrox just a few seasons ago. And that's where this moment feels so pivotal. The club is at a crossroads. The next appointment could define not just this season, but the next several years. Bringing in someone who already knows the DNA of Rangers, someone who's proven he can win under pressure, might just be the safest and smartest bet. Gerrard's legacy is already cemented, but what if he's ready to build something even bigger? What if the story isn't over yet? The fans certainly think so. Social media has been flooded with calls for his return. The atmosphere around Ibrox feels charged, full of uncertainty, yes, but also full of possibility. The stage is set. The opportunity is there. And Steven Gerrard has made it very clear. He's watching, he's planning, and if the right call comes, he's ready. While the Gerrard Defoe narrative has dominated headlines, there's a deeper undercurrent pulsing through Ibrox right now, one of urgency, reflection, and cautious optimism. The club isn't just looking for a new manager. It's looking for stability, identity, and a leader who understands what it means to manage a club with Rangers' weight and history. And that's why Gerrard's comments carry such weight. Because in a moment where so much feels uncertain, he represents something familiar, something proven, and something powerful. But even as fans dream of a fairy tale return, the reality is that Rangers have been in a cycle of rebuilding and restarting far too often in recent years. Managers have come and gone. Styles have shifted, and the squad itself has undergone significant changes without ever truly settling. That inconsistency, both in philosophy and performance, is part of what's created this hunger for a return to something more solid, more unified, like the structure Gerrard built during his first spell. It's easy to forget how much of a task Gerrard had when he arrived the first time. He walked into a club still licking its wounds from financial collapse and lower league football, trying to claw back both its reputation and its edge in the Scottish Premiership. He didn't win everything right away. It took time. It took patience. But most importantly, it took a vision. And when that vision finally clicked, it delivered a season that will live forever in Rangers folklore. Unbeaten, dominant, and emotionally charged. That's why so many believe he deserves the chance to pick up where he left off. Because it wasn't just about the title. It was about re-establishing Rangers as a force, both domestically and in Europe. And while his departure to Aston Villa left some with mixed feelings, most fans recognize that Gerrard brought pride back to Ibrox. Now, the idea of him returning with more experience, a stronger backroom team, and a clear sense of what worked and what didn't, that's a compelling proposition. But Rangers, as a club, can't afford to get lost in sentiment. This has to be a calculated decision. The next manager must be someone who can not only galvanize the squad, but also handle the relentless pressure of managing one of the most demanding clubs in the world. Every draw feels like a defeat. Every defeat feels like a disaster. That's the environment. That's the standard. And Gerrard knows it better than most. Which brings us back to what he said during that interview. He doesn't just want any job. He wants a job where he can compete, where he can win, where the expectations are sky high because that's what drives him. And if there's one thing Rangers offers, it's high stakes. Week in, week out, you're either a hero or a target. There's no middle ground. And Gerrard, for all his faults and for all the unfinished chapters in his own career, has shown he can thrive in that kind of cauldron. It's also worth noting the impact a managerial change like this could have on the squad itself. Players feed off energy. They respond to presence. And Gerrard has that in spades. He commands respect, not just because of what he's done as a player, but because of how he carries himself as a manager. He's clear, he's demanding, and when things click, his teams play with purpose. If he were to walk back into the dressing room tomorrow, you'd see an immediate shift in tone. Standards would rise. The message would be loud and clear. Rangers are here to win again. And for a club that's been lacking consistency, that kind of leadership could be transformative. Players like Todd Cantwell, Danilo, and even someone like Youssef Chermatai would benefit from having that clear structure, that demanding figurehead pushing them to hit levels they've yet to reach. Because for all the individual talent in the current squad, the performances haven't matched the potential. That's not always down to tactics or formations. Sometimes it's about belief. And Gerrard has a proven track record of instilling belief in his players. Then there's the European factor. One of Gerrard's great successes during his time at Rangers was how competitive his sides were in Europe. Ibrox on a European night is something special, and Gerrard knew exactly how to tap into that energy. Under his guidance, Rangers weren't just passengers in Europe, they were feared. That kind of pedigree could be vital moving forward, especially as the club looks to reassert itself on the continental stage. A manager who has already delivered famous nights against the likes of Porto, Feyenoord, and Galatasaray brings credibility. And that matters. Of course, none of this means Gerrard's return is guaranteed. There are still plenty of moving parts. The board will need to weigh up not just who the fans want, but who is the best fit for the current squad and long-term ambitions. And while Gerrard ticks a lot of boxes, other names are surely in the mix. Derek McInnes, for instance, has also been linked, and while he may not have the same star power, his knowledge of the Scottish game is immense. But you can't shake the feeling that if Gerrard is willing, and the board is serious about restoring identity and fire to this team, the reunion could make perfect sense. Timing is everything. Gerrard himself admitted that he's had 5 or 6 offers already but turned them down because things weren't aligned, personally or professionally. But now, with his coaching staff slowly coming together, his personal life in a more settled place, and Rangers calling for direction, the timing feels closer to right than it's ever been since he left. It's not just about coming back. It's about coming back better, and Gerrard seems to understand that fully. Meanwhile, in the background of all this managerial noise, the squad remains in a state of flux. Performances have been erratic. The attack lacks cohesion. Injuries have mounted. And players like Chermatai are caught in the middle, full of promise but starved of structure. The recall to Portugal's under-21 side could be exactly the mental reset he needs. But without proper guidance, his raw talent may go untapped. That's why the next few weeks are critical. Every decision, from who takes the manager's office to who joins the backroom staff, will have ripple effects across the entire club. And supporters know it. That's why the passion on social media has been so intense. They've seen what's possible. They've lived it. And they're desperate to see it again. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. In what's rapidly turning into the transfer chatter of the season, whispers have been swirling through Ibrox about a potential seismic addition to Rangers' attacking options. The club has reportedly announced LYNDON, the Aussie striker who's been turning heads with his aerial prowess, and insiders are already hinting that his arrival could bring an immediate lift to Giovanni van Bronckhorst's forward line. DYKES, renowned for his towering presence and uncanny ability to win headers, seems to fit the profile of the traditional Scottish Premiership bruiser striker, the sort who can shake the cop and with a late winner or dominate a crowded penalty box. Though formal confirmation is fresh, sources close to the matter suggest Rangers are banking on DYKES to deliver instantly, adding not just goals, but a physical edge that could unsettle defenses across the league. The rumor mill has been working overtime. Conversations in Glaswegian pubs and online forums are buzzing with speculation. Will DYKES slot in straight away, or is the club playing a long game, integrating him gradually? Some say he's been spotted training at the club's facilities, his boots already laced up, ready to fight for every ball in the air. Others hint that Van Bronckhorst is excited about the tactical flexibility DYKES could provide, especially in set-piece situations where his heading ability could prove decisive. Supporters are torn between cautious optimism and outright giddiness. While the deal hasn't been fully etched in stone, the very mention of DYKES' name in the same breath as Rangers is enough to ignite hope for a side that's chasing both domestic glory and European credentials. The murmur in corridors of power at Ibrox is that this isn't just a signing. It's a statement. Rangers signaling they mean business, ready to add steel and height to their attacking ranks. As fans speculate about the first match where DYKES will roar onto the pitch, one thing is certain. The talk of the town is all about aerial dominance. If the rumor proves true, every cross, every corner, and every long ball into the box will carry the promise of a new focal point up front. Rangers rivals may soon be looking up, literally, and wondering just how high they'll have to jump to match it. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.